You're watching Enterprise Nation TV with O2 Business.
First of all, do you want to tell me where did the idea for This Mum Runs come from, and how did you turn that into a business?
Well, I always call it the business a happy accident. So it actually started, it was a complete accident. I had my two kids. Prior to having kids, I'd been really active. And then when I had my children, I just struggled to fit exercise in around them, and I was exhausted all the time. So there was a period of about 2 or 3 years where I struggled to get out and do anything active at all. And in sheer desperation, one evening, actually my husband kind of nudging me saying, please go and do some exercise, you need to go and do some exercise. I put a post onto a mum's Facebook group thinking I just need to find someone to go for a run with. Had no idea what might come from it, but was thinking I'd just find a buddy that I could meet at the local park with. And said that I'd be at the park on one evening that week, and if anyone wanted to come, then come. And that first evening I stood there not knowing what to expect, and 75 women turned up, and it was that kind of slight light bulb moment, but also / fear, because I hadn't done anything myself for such a long time, and then all of these women were arriving going, well, so what are we going to do then? But that was the moment where I realised that there were just loads and loads of women feeling exactly as I'd been feeling. And from that point, I set up a Facebook group to try and manage the number of women who were coming along. Called it This Mum Runs. And within a couple of weeks, we had a couple of hundred women. Within a month, we had about 500 or 600 women. We had women from other areas of Bristol where I live contacting us saying, will you set up some runs in our areas too? And a year and a half later, we've got 8,500 women. We run from 17 different locations around Bristol and Bath. We've trained a team of mums as running coaches, because one of the things that came out quite early on was that there were a lot of women who had never run before. So we set up some coaching programs to try and help them, and that's now a big part of the actual business. And it kind of went from there.
So at what point did you know that, from that, what was a group? At what point did you know, actually, this could be a business, and did you sort of think that it was you could actually run it as a thing to make money?
I think, to be honest, probably quite early on. I think partly because I'd always wanted to have my own business, and I'd tried a couple of things before and they hadn't really worked. And then this just felt quite natural, and I could see that there was this need. And also it was something I absolutely loved and was passionate about. So not only did I love running myself, but just being able to help and inspire other women, I just found incredibly motivating. So I think quite early on, I was thinking, oh, maybe this could be something. And then when we started the coaching programs, I realised that there was a way of us generating a little bit of money as well. So yeah, it started from that and then just built. And because the community built so quickly, everything that we've done from a business perspective has been very community driven. So the community has said, well, can you do this? And we've done it. And so the coaching programs have evolved. And then women who run with us started saying, can you produce some kit? We'd love to wear This Mum Run stuff when we're out running together. So we started producing some kit, and we've recently launched an online store now that stocks all of our kit and a whole range of other stuff as well. So it's all been quite organic and quite natural. But I think the realisation that it was something was quite early on.
What did you do then so when you did make that realisation, how did you then think to do logos and finance it and get a website? What sort of steps did you take to get that done?
Well, initially it was cobbling quite a lot of stuff together because we didn't have any money. So we, one of the mums in the group, her husband was a graphic designer, so it's a different logo to now, but he designed our original logo. My husband builds websites, so we created a very basic website. We actually used Facebook more than the website early on, still do actually. I called on a lot of help from friends, and I've worked in marketing for a long time, so I pulled in a lot of favours and got friends to do things kind of cheaper than they would normally do. But it was very much on a shoestring. We didn't really have any money to spend. One of the turning points actually was joining a business accelerator program. So it was about 6 or 7 months after we started. It was a kind of sliding doors moment where I got offered redundancy, and I applied to join a business accelerator program called Entrepreneurial Spark. And the two things just happened at the same time, and so I literally left my job and joined Entrepreneurial Spark. And from that moment on, I was just surrounded by a lot of support and advice, and lots of other entrepreneurs as well who I'd learned loads from. And we just accelerated from there. And a year after being in there, we crowdfunded. So we were then able to raise some investment, which has enabled us to sort out our website and hire a little team and do some of the things that we had been doing on such a shoestring from the beginning.
I was going to say about funding. So you did successfully crowdfund.
Yeah.
How much was it you raised?
We raised 110,000. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, we're really pleased.
So why do you think you were successful at that? What was the message you used to get people to buy into the brand?
Well, so the reason we crowdfunded is because we already had a crowd. And because we're such a community-driven business, I felt that every kind of step along the way where we've become more of a business, I've wanted to protect the community bit as well. So it felt really important that we should give our community the opportunity to invest and continue to be part of our journey. So a big part of crowdfunding is having a crowd. Of successful crowdfunding is making sure you've got that crowd together before you launch your campaign. And so quite a lot of the work we did before we pressed the button was around sharing our plans with our own runners. We held some breakfasts, we did a few runs, we had some Join Our Crowd t-shirts made. We kind of really rallied our own community. And actually over 50% of our investors are from This Mum Runs. So that obviously really helped. And that's actually one of the things I'm most proud of, because it feels like we've retained the integrity of where we started. So even though we're growing and becoming, more of a business, I suppose, the community bit is still protected, and the community are integral to the business too. So it's something I'm really proud of.
You mentioned Facebook a lot, and you're an ambassador for the She Means Business campaign that Facebook runs. So do you want to talk a bit about how you've used Facebook for the brand and what your advice is for other businesses?
My business wouldn't exist without Facebook. It's absolutely front and centre to the brand. We've built a community on Facebook, and I think one of the best bits about the brand is the engagement that happens in those Facebook groups, and the amazing stories that women share, and the support and encouragement that women give to each other in just quite an amazing way. And it's enabled us to create a brand with, I think, that we can kind of really live our values through our Facebook community. And as a result, we've grown really mostly by word of mouth, so friends telling their friends, and then they then join the group. We've recently started working more closely with Facebook as a result of the She Means Business campaign, which has been brilliant. So we've just started kind of investing, I suppose, in Facebook advertising, both from a brand awareness perspective so that we can grow the size of the community, but also because we've now got an online store, and so we want to let people know about it, and that has been absolutely amazing for us. I mean, we're getting between 5 and 10 times ROI on all of our marketing spend, which is brilliant. Yeah.
What's your advice then for other small businesses that want to use Facebook as a key part of their company?
I think the main bit of advice is that you're going to have to work hard at it. So growing a successful community on Facebook doesn't just happen. You can't just set up the group and then leave people to it. At the beginning, and even now to a certain extent, I'm still very hands-on with the community. So I'll like a lot of posts, I'll comment on a lot of posts, I'll share stuff, that is really important as the business owner, that people see that you are actually interested in them. It's not just about stats and analytics, it's actually about them as people. So treat it like that, and you'll just get a lot of reward from that.
Without giving away all your secrets, but in the advertising, what sort of messages have you found that have worked, that have got through and have converted into,
Well, our whole proposition, we've done quite a lot of work on our brand and understanding what our proposition should be and what messages people respond to. And for us, the absolute core message about everything we do is about women creating headspace and having time. You know, mums are busy and they're juggling a lot of things, and it's all about their kids and their family and their friends and their work, and rarely about them. So all of our messaging is around, make some time for yourself, create some headspace, make some new friends, join an amazing community. And then the products we're selling are very aligned to that as well. So we've got a range of slogan sweatshirts, for example, that are very aligned to that whole kind of thought, and they've just flown out. So it's been absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Now you're also the reigning Enterprise Nation Female Startup of the Year. Didn't have to find the time. So that was at the Festival of Entrepreneurs last year, which we run. So do you want to talk a bit about that and the experience of pitching on that stage and why you think you won?
Well, it was terrifying, I can tell you that. And I've done a lot of pitching in the last year, and it's something that the accelerator program I'm part of really focuses very heavily on pitching, but nothing really prepares you for that moment where you have to stand on stage and talk about a business that you love and are really emotionally invested in. So I was super nervous, but the reason I entered was because I think the event is amazing, and I'd been at the event the year before as a very new business. We'd only been operating a couple of months when I came to the event in 2015, and I'd kind of sat there and thought, I really want to be a bigger part of that event next year. And so when there was the opportunity to enter the award and pitch on the day, I thought I just have to go for it. And also when I looked at the panel of judges and saw that Facebook were one of the judges, that for me was really important because our business is so much about Facebook. I wanted the opportunity to talk to Facebook about our business, and so it felt really important that even though I was nervous, that I kind of put myself out of my comfort zone and did it anyway. Actually I was nervous. I had 2 brain freeze moments. I had shaky legs, but I think the biggest thing with pitching is being able to just carry on and be real. And I think I've spoken to a lot of people since then. Obviously, it was obvious that I'd had the brain freeze moments, but a lot of people just said, look, you carried on, you obviously knew what you were talking about. In the Q&A, I came into my own, I think, more in the Q&A, because I was able to talk a lot more naturally, and I think I answered the questions well, which possibly helped with the with winning. But the feedback the judges gave me afterwards was that I think I've got such a clear sense of who our audience are, and wanting to make a difference to them, and having the desire to kind of grow this global movement, that was kind of what tipped it for me.
And just finally, to end it all, what's the future for This Mum Runs? If we were sat here in 5 years' time, where do you hope the business has got to?
Well, the absolute vision is to have This Mum Runs communities in every town and city in the world. So first step is London. We're launching in London next month, in April next month, which is super exciting. And so we get to test all of our systems and processes and all the things we've learned about the locations we're currently in. And from there, we're basically ready to roll out across the UK. So that's kind of next step, next kind of 12 to 18 months. And our retail, our online store is a big part of our plans as well. It's gone so well in the last 6 months that we plan to really kind of make that into a substantial part of our business.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.